and welcome back to another episode of Back with the Dead. Today we have John Stuart Mill with us to talk about welfare capitalism. So before we talk about welfare capitalism, could you explain to our viewers what classical liberalism was?
Sure thing. Back in my time, classical liberalism was more generated around the 6 points of individualism, which was self-interest, economic freedom, individual rights and freedoms, rule of law, private property, and competition. And we based most of our rules off of those 6 points.
Oh, so it was a very individualistic society. You do what is best for you and everyone else doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Oh, I can see that. So who are these people that turned into welfare capitalism? What kind of people?
It was more the workers because of poor working conditions.
Oh, so they were treated badly during that time. Is that something that you guys saw wrong with classical liberalism?
Yes. During that time, classical liberalism was a very good form of society, but the factory owners started taking advantage of their workers, and then the workers felt as though they were just being used and they didn't have any rights or anything.
So this was during the time of child labor, 16-hour work days.
Yes, really low wages, and if you were disabled or you had an injury, they'd still make you work.
So we live in a society today that has modern liberalism. Do they have any of the social programs that we had today back then?
Yes, I think they do. Progressive taxes. Those who make more money spend more in taxes. And there's a few others I can't quite remember right now.
So that's what welfare capitalism wanted. They wanted rules from government, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so how did people go about to get those rules from government?
They started, workers went on strikes, and they demanded non-monetary rewards, and they wanted minimum wages for everybody. They wanted to be able to have worker benefits and things like that.
Did that ever really work with places, or did owners just kind of freak and fire and try to find more people?
Some owners thought of that, but then the government started taking a bit of control, and then they started saying that, well, these worker rights need to be appreciated and that the workers need to be respected as well. So then rights and benefits were incorporated, especially social insurance programs.
Okay, so that was good. So would you guys consider yourself successful in your pursuit to get government involvement in the economy?
Only to a certain extent, because we were very successful until people started wanting more government action. And what that kind of turned into was more of a welfare state, and as welfare capitalists, that's not what we really wanted. Because we wanted to stay more right-wing rather than move to the left-wing, and we wanted everything to kind of focus around a bit of government involvement, but at the same time follow your own individual pursuits.
Okay, so what is some examples that you were successful in getting a welfare capitalist economy?
Well, around 1810, we improved working conditions. We regulated hours. There were some age restrictions so that young children didn't have to work as long and as hard. And then that was in Great Britain around that time. I'm just trying to think back. I have a bad memory. Well, in Germany in 1883, leave for illness or maternity. That was it. That's what happened around that time. And in 1884, there was assistance for job-related injuries. And 1889, there was old age restriction laws, so that old people didn't have to work as much.
Okay, so kind of what we think of normal for what people should get was a new idea back then. People didn't really understand that.
They found it difficult to take in, but over time, they realized that it was good for them.
Okay, so how exactly did welfare capitalism turn into welfare state? Because I know that isn't something you guys wanted.
Yeah, as welfare capitalists, we weren't really motivated or happy that we turned into welfare state, but it was kind of around during World War I when people didn't really focus on welfare capitalism because they were more interested in fighting the war rather than fighting for worker rights. And during the Great Depression was around the time the welfare state started coming in.
They just, because they didn't want another economy crash.
Yeah, they wanted to keep things balanced so that kind of more demand and supply and demand.
That makes sense.